The Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions.
All right, there is growing optimism that the Chiefs will sign Trey Smith to a new 5-year deal. That's per Nate Taylor. I can confirm that it more than likely will be a 5-year deal in the 95 to 105 million total value contract. It appears with the increase in cap space the Chiefs were not expecting. Now that they have definitive word that one of their players might be back, then I think they're pretty confident that they can get Trey Smith done. And if you heard Brett Veach yesterday at the NFL Combine and a couple of the side interviews with the NFL Network, he indicated he thought he'd get it done, and also appears to be good news for linebacker Nick Bolton. Looks like both sides are going to reach a deal there as well. So the Chiefs' top free agents on offensive defense appear to be not hitting the open market, and I think that's good news for the Chiefs' offense and defense.
Yeah, Brett dropping a lot of breadcrumbs out there.
He dropped some weird ones yesterday,
hinting at Hollywood coming back or wanting to have him back. Now, I guess that's part of the negotiating as well, is just kind of put it out there publicly that the Chiefs want these guys.
He doesn't do that though. He doesn't do that normally.
Well, that's my point.
He's if he mentions it, it's likely going to happen.
He was really candid and just kind of not so guarded. So that was pretty interesting on his part. But yeah,
I'm going to go first. If the deal is as was being reported that it's going to be, up there in the 90s, low hundreds. Again, I don't think all of it's going to be guaranteed. My guess would probably 65 or 75 million, somewhere in there would be guaranteed. So basically it's a 3-year, $25 million deal. So at the end of the day, I think re-signing Smith makes sense. Thuney has 1 year left on his contract. The dilemma the Chiefs have is this. If they don't want Thuney back in 2026, then they're going to have to pay him the full $28 million, because they really don't want to extend his contract a year to kind of soften the blow, because then they'd have some dead money to deal with in 26 and in 2026. And I'm not sure that's where they want to go, because they've got a lot of young guys they have to sign. I mean, the rumor is they're going to get Bolton done. I think they keep him for 1 more year. I think they have the cap space. What it's going to mean is Patrick Mahomes is going to have to restructure his deal, which would create about $30 million in cap space. They're not going to redo Travis's deal. They probably won't do Thuney's deal. So I think if Smith signs, I think they keep him for 1 more year to keep that interior line together. I think Thuney's got 1 more All-Pro year in him, and then after that, I think they part ways.
You go ahead, Luke.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, he's under contract for another year. So, I mean, I don't think they're just going to cut him or try to trade him or anything like that. Again, with that bloated number, if you will. Right. Maybe they, I'm sure maybe they go to him and they do an extension. Why not? I think he can still play the guard position at a high level for a few more years. So if they feel comfortable with that, then absolutely. Why wouldn't you? I mean, they've got, if it's not the best interior 3, it's one of the top 2, right? And I don't think it's 2. So you want to keep those guys together, and then maybe again. And we saw it come true last year. So I don't know if it's a great theory that you can get away with it on the edges, but you can't. And we saw it.
Show the hell can't.
So it's going to come down to, how is that left tackle? If they are able to get a left tackle at a reasonable price, and they can get Thuney extended, now you got to be feeling pretty good about the offensive line.
Right.
So just to answer the question, absolutely, because I said that middle 3 is, I get the biggest strength of the team as far as I'm concerned, outside of quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
I agree, Nick. When Nick just said, I agree, man. It's like keep him for 1 more. Like I'm glad they're considering signing Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like for that 5-year. Tony, 1 more year, why not?
Welcome, Liv, to touch that mic. Man, sit back up off the mic, man. Back up, sit back. You too close to the mic, man. Like, is it make you look short down in it?
You get that, but you get that buttery, sultry voice. You got a little bit of.
Jesus Christ.
I'm thinking of Lou Rawls right now. You'll never find.
But whatever, guys. Y'all funny. He said, "Do back to but I agree with Nick though. Like I said, with Tony.
Wait, what did he say? Okay.
You got jokes, huh?
Yeah.
I definitely agree with Nick, though. I really do, man. Like,
now you got to clip that off and put
God,
that in
no
the
shit.
intro.
yeah, for real, I do, because it makes sense. It makes sense. You got like Lou, like what you said, you got to keep that line intact. Any way, shape, or form, keep the line intact. However it may go, invest into your line. And like you said, if they get a left tackle in the draft, why not?
Maybe.
But they you know, I think like I had to agree with Lou, man. You know what I mean? If Tony is playing
friends,
if Tony is playing very well at that position, why not? You know, why mess with something that's arguably the best interior line in the NFL? It didn't. I know it didn't look that well.
Did you say play great in what game?
Man, because they moved him. They moved him on the left side where he was out of place, right? They moved Tony on the left side where he was out of place. But again, man, like I said, I would stand Joe Tooney, give him a couple more years. He's only 34. He's not, he's not
only 34. He's only 34.
He's not that old, is he?
Yeah, he's about 30, probably 30.
I don't know. Somebody look it up for me.
I want to say 30. I want to say 32. I mean, anytime he lines up a guard, he's arguably the best guard in football.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right there. I mean, if there's 2 or 3 better, maybe, but he's kind of that guy. So if you can get him at that number, now again, does that number
32? Does
that number
34
that Trey Smith,
whatever,
that number that Trey Smith gets, does that impact Tony's negotiations?
Yeah, I mean, they would have 20.
If this kid's getting this, well,
I mean, they'd have.
I'm sure
20,
that's what the agent's going to say.
38. My math. They have about $56 million in the interior of their line for next season on the books.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you got guys that are really good, and then
you still got to find a tackle.
And you do draft and develop. Again, that's always
draft
a message.
And develop, Lou.
Same
draft
thing
and develop
with Cuffs. If they can get him extended this year, not wait until
they have to do it now.
They're definitely going to give him the 5th-year option. I would. That just seems so obvious. But you draft these guys, you turn them into all pros, and then you sorry, that's not cool.
They're going to have to extend.
Can't keep them all, but I mean, if they're at that level,
can't keep them all, gentlemen. Can't keep them.